Welcome back to SwitchStars, my name's Luke, and today on the channel we're taking a look at Samurai Japan Warrior Fighter, the latest offering from the notorious scam game publisher VG Games, and a game which has you playing as a samurai on a spiritual quest to obtain a legendary fighting technique and defend a beautiful Japanese village from evil samurai. Upon discovering the game, you may perhaps think that it aims to cater to fans of games like Sekiro and Ghost of Tsushima, but you'd be mistaken because, like all VG Games titles, this one is a steaming pile of Samushite. But without further ado, let's find out why. So the game opens with a main menu featuring an image no doubt stolen from someone's DeviantArt account and some generic Japanese sounding music, and we can quickly check the game's control scheme before jumping into it. I am a samurai. The way of the samurai is not just a code of conduct, but I have set myself a goal to never stop seeking perfection and be. For a samurai, there is no greater honour than to serve with courage and skill. Chapter 1, Kenjutsu. So here we are, a Japanese samurai warrior clad in full Yoroi attire, poised and ready for action in our unwavering combat stance. Now, apparently we've travelled to this village in search of a secret fighting technique, and our first encounter in this Japanese wonderland is with an apparently old man. Though by his appearance you'd think he was about 20 and had some kind of birth defect due to the shoddy texture quality, which makes his eyes look like piss holes in the snow and his limbs look like they're made out of plasticine. Conversing with this old bastard though is the most tedious dialogue experience I've ever had in a game, as the text takes a lifetime to appear and can't be skipped, and the conversation just goes on, and it also feels like it's been written by a 5-year-old. The old man though tells us that there's a master here who possesses the secret fighting style, but that there are hostile outsiders who have also come to the village seeking the technique for evil purposes. He also departs his wisdom on us, telling us that we'll require not only good katana fighting skills, but also spiritual growth and self-knowledge, as the path to mastery demands physical, mental and spiritual strength. Following this lengthy 3-minute conversation, I then regained control of my character though, walked about 3 feet and then accidentally triggered the dialogue again for another run through of the same unskippable 3-minute conversation. Now after learning my lesson I proceeded over a nearby bridge and encountered my first enemies, the game's one and only enemy who waddled towards me with all the grace of a constipated penguin, and the game's combat system is relatively simple. You have heavy and light attacks performed with the X and Y buttons, which from what I can tell can be used in combination to perform a couple of different attacks, though I couldn't really work out exactly how to pull off these moves. And you can also lock onto enemies and block with the ZR button, though both of these mechanics are about as much use as a chocolate dildo, as the lock-on mechanics sometimes work and sometimes don't, and the enemies can break your block, which also fails to function sometimes. The enemies themselves also block constantly, and you too can break this block with specific combos, but this turns out to be near impossible due to the fact that you always face off against multiple enemies who frequently merge together, so the whole combat system is pretty much screwed, and the enemies also have far too much health, so this first encounter left me with a midge's dick worth of health. Anyway, further into the village you'll once again encounter the old man, who after rambling on again in some more unskippable dialogue, tasks you with finding sacks to improve your weapon, and thus ensues an Easter egg hunt which has you searching high and low to obtain 10 of the bastards. The entirety of the game though is set within this singular Japanese mountain town, which despite the low texture resolutions, by Switch standards is actually quite picturesque, but it's not particularly large and could be fully explored in just a couple of minutes. As you do though, you'll constantly be set upon by enemy samurai, who at every turn spawn in groups of 2, 3s and sometimes even 4s, and like I said, defeating these proves to be an impossible task, so instead I opted to run away from them. Though unfortunately, they never stop chasing you and never despawn, so once you have about 10 of them after you, the frame rate absolutely shits itself and the game becomes nearly unplayable. At this point it's best to resign yourself to your fate, and doing so will retain any sacks you've obtained, but no matter where you respawn in the game, a set of enemies will also instantly spawn next to you. Now, I probably spent about 30 minutes searching for these sacks, most of which were located inside buildings, and I died maybe 5 or 6 times just to reset the chase, but along the way I also encountered random objects which triggered these rather baffling cutaways featuring cryptic Japanese scriptures and more stock images. Throughout the village, the old man appears multiple times, and suffering through his dialogue you learn that apparently these objects hold significant spiritual meaning, and in every single encounter he also repeats the fact that the journey is not just about the physical but also the spiritual, though other than the bizarre and cryptic messages these objects convey, they don't appear to serve any purpose whatsoever. So after collecting 10 ball sacks, I then once more returned to the old man, who informed me that the materials that I'd collected were actually a rare metal imbued with spiritual energy, which he then used to improve my weapon, and rather naively I had expected this to provide a significant boost to my damage output, but after engaging in combat I found this not to be the case, and I didn't appear to be any stronger than before. From here though, there was nothing. No further objectives to complete, no additional areas opened up for me, and no big boss battle to engage in. And at this point I assumed that I'd missed something, maybe a conversation with the old man which initiated another quest line, but after speaking what I believe to be every old man in the village, which meant sitting through about 20 minutes worth of dialogue, there was still nothing else. So presumably that's it. A 10-minute Easter egg hunt filled with unkillable enemies, monotonously long dialogues, and some of the worst frame rate issues I've ever experienced on the console. Once again though, the developer has taken all the libbies in the world with the eShop description for this one, spouting a load of bollocks about intense combat with a variety of enemies despite there only being one in the game, spiritual growth with you pausing to pray at shrines to unlock hidden katana techniques, though these don't exist at all in the game, katana upgrades, unlocking new techniques and abilities, again complete bullshit, and choices and consequences with your decisions impacting the story's direction, relationship with the characters and available upgrades. In short, a complete fucking lie. Once again though, this is a complete scam title from VG Games, aka Midnight Works, which Nintendo have allowed onto the eShop, and as you can see the people over at the third party partnership team are doing a fantastic job of vetting these ones. If you want to know more about the publishers and the games they're putting out though, be sure to check out my Scam Games playlist. For now though, I guess that's all there is to say about this one, so hopefully you enjoyed it and found it helpful, and if you did, drop a like and subscribe for more like it. Until next time though, thanks once again for watching, take care of yourselves, and game on.